Once upon a time, in a remote village far, far away, there lived a family with 3 lovely daughters. The youngest of these daughters was named Anaya, which means priceless. Her parents chose this name because they believed she was a treasure beyond measure. However, because of her exceptional beauty, everyone in the village began to call her Nzuri, which means beautiful. As Anaya grew, her beauty became even more radiant, and the nickname Nzuri stuck. Eventually, everyone forgot that her real name was Anaya. When Nzuri introduced herself, she used the name everyone knew her by. "You are truly beautiful, like a rare gem," the villagers would say, admiring her. And so, Nzuri became her identity, known and admired by everyone in the village. Nzuri was not just beautiful, she was also kind-hearted and exceptionally skilled at weaving intricate patterns into fabrics. As the youngest of 3 daughters, she admired her older sisters, Sanyu and Kamaria, who were also very beautiful. Nzuri loved her family deeply and was proud of her sisters. However, as she grew older, she began to realize that beauty alone did not guarantee happiness. Sanyu and Kamaria had captivated the hearts of wealthy men who came from the city to marry them. However, their beauty, which seemed like a blessing, turned out to be a double-edged sword. As Nzuri grew up, she witnessed her sisters' weddings, which were grand affairs filled with music, dancing, and promises of a bright future. The men who married Sanyu and Kamaria had promised their parents that they would support the girls in furthering their education, but once married, these promises were broken. Sanyu's husband, despite his wealth, was unfaithful and often left her feeling lonely and abandoned. Kamaria's husband, on the other hand, was abusive and constantly accused her of infidelity. Both sisters were trapped in their unhappy marriages, unable to leave because they lacked the skills or education to support themselves independently. One afternoon, Nzuri visited Sanyu in the city. The mansion was beautiful, but the atmosphere inside was cold and sad. Sanyu sat by the window, looking miserable. "You have to be careful," Sanyu warned, her voice trembling. "Don't let our fate become yours. Beauty can attract the wrong kind of attention." Nzuri nodded solemnly, understanding the depth of her sister's despair. She then visited Kamaria, who had a bruise on her cheek from a recent beating. "Why don't you leave him?" Nzuri asked, tears welling in her eyes. "I have nowhere to go, and I don't want to burden our parents. Besides, they rely on the money he sends them," Kamaria replied, her voice barely a whisper. Nzuri returned home from visiting her sisters in the city, her arms full of goodies she had brought back. Her mother greeted her warmly as she entered their small, modest house. "Nzuri, you are back," she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "What did you bring?" Nzuri handed her mother the bags. "Here, Mama. These are from Sanyu and Kamaria. They wanted to make sure you have everything you need." Nzuri's mother began to unpack the bags, smiling at the contents, but Nzuri's heart was heavy. She couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. "Mama, I need to talk to you," Nzuri said, her voice serious. Her mother looked up, sensing the urgency in her daughter's tone. "What is it, my child?" "Mama, Sanyu and Kamaria are suffering. Sanyu's husband cheats on her all the time." Her mother sighed and shook her head. "Nzuri, you are still young. You do not understand marriage yet. When you grow up, you will see that a woman must be strong and endure her marriage, just like I have." Nzuri was confused. "But, Mama, why should they stay if they are unhappy?" Nzuri's mother sat down and looked at her with a tired expression. "Do you think I stay with your father because I am happy all the time? No, Nzuri. I stay because it is my duty as a wife and mother. We must be strong for our family. Nzuri felt a wave of sadness wash over her. But Mama, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to suffer like Sanyu and Kamaria. Her mother took Nzuri's hand gently. Every woman has her struggles. Marriage is not always easy, but we must do what we can to keep our family together. Nzuri's eyes filled with tears. Mama, I promise you I will not settle for a marriage like my sister's. I want to study, become a fashion designer, and make my own way in life. Her mother looked at her with a mix of pride and worry. You are smart, Nzuri. I hope your dreams come true. But remember, life is not always as simple as we wish it to be. Nzuri nodded, understanding her mother's words, but still resolute. In her heart, she knew she had to follow her own path, no matter how difficult it might be. She hugged her mother tightly, feeling a deep love for her, but also a firm resolve to change her own destiny. Nzuri was walking home from school, chatting with her friends from high school. They were all in awe of her skill in weaving, praising her designs and talent. You are so talented, Nzuri. Everyone loves your clothes, said Kasi, one of her friends. Thank you, Casey, Nzuri replied with a smile. I just love making beautiful things. As they were about to part ways, Nzuri turned to another friend, Imani. Imani, please remind your mother that I will finish her dress this weekend. She can come and collect it on Sunday. I will, Nzuri. Thank you so much, Imani responded cheerfully. They all waved goodbye, and Nzuri continued her journey home. As she walked down the dusty village road, a shiny luxury car drove past her, then suddenly reversed back. The window rolled down, and a well-dressed man called out to her. Hello there, beautiful. What's your name? The man asked, smiling. Nzuri stopped and looked at him, feeling uncomfortable. My name is Nzuri. What do you want? The man grinned. You are very beautiful, Nzuri. I like you. I want to get to know you better. Nzuri frowned and shook her head. Thank you, but I'm not interested. The man seemed surprised by her response, but didn't give up. He asked where she lived and drove to her house. When he arrived, he spoke to Nzuri's parents, telling them the same story her sister's husbands had told. I want to marry your daughter, the man said confidently. I will take her to the city and help her further her studies. She will have a good life with me. Nzuri's parents were excited and tried to convince her. This is a good opportunity for you. He's a wealthy man, and he will take care of you. But Nzuri was firm. No, Mama, Papa. I do not want to marry him. I want to continue my studies and become a fashion designer. Despite her parents' attempts to persuade her, Nzuri refused the man's proposal. Over time, many other suitors came, each promising her heaven and earth, but Nzuri turned them all down. At the end of the year, the results from her school exams were announced. Nzuri was nervous but hopeful as she went to check her results. When she saw her scores, she was overjoyed. She had passed with flying colors, and her dream of going to college to study fashion design was within reach. She ran home to share the good news with her parents. Mama, Papa, I did it! I passed my exams with high marks. I can go to college now. Her parents were proud and happy for her. We are so proud of you, Nzuri. You have worked so hard, and now you will achieve your dreams. Nzuri journeyed to the city to study fashion design with the money she had saved from weaving clothes for her villagers. Her sister Kamaria also helped her pay for college for the whole year. When Nzuri arrived in the city, she stayed with Kamaria since Kamaria's house was closer to the college. On Nzuri's first day at college, she attracted a lot of attention. Her beauty and the stylish clothes she had designed for herself made her stand out. Everyone, including the lecturers, noticed her. A group of ladies often came up to her to compliment her outfits. "Wow, your dress is amazing. Did you make it yourself?" one of the girls asked. "Yes, I did," Nzuri replied, with a smile. "She is so talented and beautiful," another girl said, and everyone nodded in agreement. When Nzuri walked through the college, people stared at her, admiring her beauty and talent. That first week was very exciting for her. Many girls wanted to be her friend and would wave at her from a distance or call out, "How are you, Nzuri?" They would even ignore whoever she was walking with just to get her attention. Nzuri received a lot of attention from the boys, too. Even boys from other faculties would hang around Nzuri's department just to talk to her or ask if they could buy her lunch. "Hi, would you like to have lunch with me today?" one of the boys asked. "Thank you, but I already have plans," Nzuri would reply politely. Despite all the attention, Nzuri was unsure who truly liked her for who she was. She felt that people were drawn to her looks rather than her personality. After the first week of classes, Nzuri was due to move into the college residence. That Friday, after her classes, she went back to Kamaria's house. She could hear Kamaria and her husband arguing, which made her very upset. On that night, Nzuri took an old ribbon from Kamaria's doll and started sewing a mask to cover her face. The doll was small, so she had to put many pieces together, resulting in a lot of stitches. Nzuri didn't care about the appearance of the mask. She just needed something to cover her face. She used the silicone texture of the doll, which felt like real skin, but looked hideous. On Sunday night, Kamaria drove Nzuri to the residence where she would stay. They hugged and said goodbye. "I will come to visit you whenever I can, okay? Study hard," Kamaria said to Nzuri. Nzuri was alone in the residence because her roommate had not yet moved in. On Monday, Nzuri went to school wearing her face mask. No one recognized her as Nzuri. As soon as she reached the academic area, everyone was whispering and laughing. "What is that?" someone said. Nzuri went to the friends she had made during the first week and told them, "It's me, Nzuri." They laughed scornfully. "Do you think you can ever look as beautiful as Nzuri?" they mocked. "Don't look our way." In class, everyone started asking, "Where is Nzuri today?" Even the lecturers who admired her beauty asked, but no one knew. The first day of the week was very long for Nzuri. Students from other halls came just to see her. No one wanted to be seen hanging out with her. During breaks, it was like a museum exhibit. Everyone came to watch her. But Nzuri didn't care. She was used to being famous for her beauty, and now she was getting used to being noticed for her ugliness. Through this experience, Nzuri learned who her true friends were and who valued her for more than just her appearance. Despite the ridicule, she remained focused on her studies and her dream of becoming a fashion designer. Her determination and resilience shone brighter than her physical beauty ever had. And so, Nzuri carved her own path, becoming an inspiration to many for her inner strength and unwavering resolve.